Never ever take someone for what they say. Always do. Sorry? I'm sorry. What? Okay. So, yeah. Don't always go for their action. They wanted me to come here.
Okay. A little bit annoying. So tell them.
Some people that thinks I'm too loud. I don't think I'm very loud at all.
That's okay, Melina Goranson. You can come here to This Week in Stupid for the 15th of May 2021, where you can be as loud as you want, and I won't allow anyone to bother you. Unless, of course, you don't want to get vaccinated. If you don't want to get vaccinated, Melina Goranson, then I will play you a clip from a very talented artist which is going to try to persuade you to do just that.
It's vaccination day! It's vaccination day! Today I get my COVID jab, and I'm feeling really fab. For months I have been waiting for this day. When can I get my second shot? And will it hurt or will it not? Oh, I think I am gonna be okay. It's just a small needle, right? And for the people who don't want it and still refuse to take, well, thanks to you now I don't have to wait. 'Cause for the first time in forever, I might get to kiss a girl. It's been a long time. When I get my AstraZeneca, I'm gonna tell the whole damn world, guys, I'm vaccinated! And I know I'm acting crazy, but I mean, I've like waited for a year. And for the first time in forever, I won't live in fear.
Should I click here again? How much super chats will you give me so I don't click this? I'm warning you. I'm threatening you. Man, I should start, like if I don't get super chats, I'll try another popular thing. You cringe, you lose competition. PewDiePie is going to play that, right? Look, the faster you get vaccinated, the faster these people stop. That's my take from this. Like, this is like psychological warfare. It's like, hey, if you don't get the jab, these people are going to make more videos. It's in your hands now. It's in your hands. It's not us now. But you know what? I think I can write a book and I can feel like Jordan Peterson. It won't be 12 rules for life. You don't need 12 rules for life. You just need one rule for life. Find a woman that looks at you the same way this guy looks at the needle. And then you're set. Like, there is nothing more as a man that you can want from life. I like that. That is one rule from life from V. I hope you're going to buy my book. It's going to be bestseller on the New York Times. My God, every single week I keep saying I'm tired to talk about the COVID. I want to talk about other things, but no, because it's in the news and I have to find articles from the news, I got to talk about it. Got to talk about nothing I can do. My hands are tied. So last week, experts in the United Kingdom were tackling a very difficult question. Very important question that needs answering. How will teachers be protected from risks of hugging? Have you tried to walk a mile in a teacher's shoes, you bigot? Like, seriously. They now have to deal with infested children. These entities that are living, walking biohazards sent by Grandfather Nurgle himself, and any one of these little innocent children can potentially carry a deadly pathogen with the capacity of decimating a percentage of the world population. Is there anything that I've described up to here false? Is there anything that I have said which you can say, no, V, you're wrong? Absolutely not. Everything I said is true. When you look at a child, you need to look at a potential biological disaster. Any one of them can carry it. They can carry it inside them. So what do you do if you're a teacher? Because the children can come to hug you. Do you understand this? Do you understand the terror that teachers have to face? Now, some bigots, by the way, right-wingers, all of them, they suggested, hey, how about I homeschool my daughter for the teacher's safety? Imagine thinking like that. Imagine being such a selfish person. Like, that's not going to solve anything, okay? Because this is systemic. It's systemic. It's not individualistic. You need to start thinking in systems. You removing your child and homeschooling them with your evil, bigoted mind is not going to fix the system. It's systemic. Systemic. Okay, so how do we fix? Well, whenever you deal with a systemic problem, the correct solution is to ask the experts, to ask the people that are smarter than us, to ask the people that have been anointed by society to be superhuman, super intelligent, super smart, super exceptional in their abilities to understand the science, something that your pea brain is never going to get. And as such, the almighty government, hallowed be his name, long may it live, has used its benevolent powers in order to create a class of people able to understand hugging at such a deep level that they have become experts in hugging. And now they are going to tell you 5 ways through the hallowed press, hallowed be its name, long live the BBC, on how you should hug people in a safe way. And as I said before, like the experts, they're super smart. You will never be able to understand them. But luckily, we have some people in the world that aren't as smart as the experts, but they're not dumb as the peasantry either. They're in between. And they can translate for us. And these are the people working at the BBC. They're the only ones that can understand the language of the experts and also communicate with the peasants. We call them authoritative sources here on YouTube, because they have only the authority to be able to do the translation. So here's how you can make the hugging safer. Turn faces away and keep hug short. Okay, you need to repeat this every time you go to sleep so that it's being etched in your brain, so you understand how to live in a civilized society. Keep hugging short. I would say it's like the 3-second rule. If you drop something on the ground, you have 3 seconds to be able to pick it up and put it in your mouth. It's the same thing with hugging with another person. 3 seconds. And turn the face away. And by the way, like BBC, I would not dare to raise myself to your level of wisdom and understanding. But I think you made a mistake here. I think you made a grave mistake. Look, you have 2 people hugging and they're not wearing a mask. BBC, someone is to get fired over this. Someone working there has to quit, resign. They have done harm to the public. Imagine if someone less intelligent than I would look at this picture and they would think, oh, this is appropriate. It is not appropriate, BBC. It is not appropriate. Don't hug face to face. You know, think of it like Uzaki-chan. Like if you hug Uzaki-chan, would you want to hug her face to face or would you want to hug her like in this picture? Be honest about it. Number 3, wear a mask if one of you is vulnerable. Oh, so I guess like both of these people are not vulnerable? No, BBC, I think you misunderstood the experts. This is why religions have more denominations, right? Like, because some people misunderstand God. They don't get what he is actually trying to say. So people have different denominations. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe I should start my own authoritative source. I think all of us are vulnerable all the time. Every time you should mask up, regardless if it's a vulnerable person or not. I mean, there might be degrees of vulnerability, of course, but why risk it, BBC? Why take the chance? Mask up. What is this nonsense? Don't hug too many people. But let's be honest, like this is something that I wouldn't say. How many of you have that many friends to hug many people? Huh? Maybe if you're a football player and you go into the soccer field, then you can hug many people. But most people who are reading the BBC, this could only be applied to cats, you know, like don't hug 2 or 3 cats at a time. Like that fine. But like, don't hug too many people. But anyway, no more talks about COVID. It already got me depressed. A lot of gloom and doom. I don't like talking about diseases and sickness and Papa Nurgle. That gives me the downies. Instead, I want to talk about something more uplifting. I watch television, alright, because I want to learn how to do visual effects. I want to learn how to use the green screen. On my way to becoming an authoritative source, I need to look professional. Doesn't matter if you spew garbage, doesn't matter if you spew misinformation, you need to look professional. So here's something wholesome that I've learned from the experts on authoritative news. Or wholesome without Drumpf in the office, now the news becomes wholesome. Because look what they're dealing with. Like, this is the sadness behind the scene. Had a Twitter account that would automatically rebuttal Trump's tweets. I had over 100,000 followers, but no idea what to do now. I started a Twitter account this summer that would automatically give a snarky reply, snark, 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 back to anything that the Trump would put on the Twitter. I grew the account to over 100,000 followers quickly and was selling anti-Trump and pro-Democrat shirts. What a capitalist endeavor. What a savvy businessman we had here. Hats and trinkets. His Twitter just got banned and now my main source of growing this account and business is done. What can I do to continue to monetize this account, or is it over? Thanks in advance. See the suffering? The suffering that has fallen upon the news? And then they have to do funny things. They have to do funny skits in order to try to pick up the pace. Horrible. Especially when the new administration cockblocks the reporter. They don't really give them much information. And you know why? Because the reporters are bad people. They're bad, bad, bad people. And this is coming from the mouth of El Presidente himself.
Thank you.
What's your take on the end of your meeting, sir? Were you optimistic coming out of it today?
Which one of the 12 I've had?
Pelosi, Schumer, the crew. Infrastructure, sir, and in particular...
You guys are bad. I'm not supposed to be answering all these questions. I'm supposed to leave.
But wait, I hear you say. He is the president of the free world. He should be free to answer how many questions he wants. Who is telling him not to answer questions?
He takes questions nearly every day he's out from the press. That is not something we recommend. In fact, a lot of times we say don't take questions, but he's going to do what he wants to do because he's the president of the United States.
Oh, I see. Well, all of a sudden, all of this makes sense.
I can talk to you about that later.
Press, let's go, you guys. Come on, press. We're going to move out. Let's go, press.
Who am I turning this over to?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President. I think it's time for the press, our friends in the press to leave, though.
I'm sorry. This is the last question I'll take, and I'm really going to be in trouble.
Yep, he's clearly going to be in trouble because we know what happens when he speaks out. You remember when he called the border crisis a crisis? And then the White House came out and said, no, Biden's staff disagrees with Biden, and it's not a crisis. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that how you're supposed to lead a nation? Like, if the guy in charge doesn't know correctly, you need to step up. That's why it's the Democratic Party, because it's a democracy, even within Biden's staff, okay? There's no authoritarianism going there, no fascism going there, not one man that leads. No, it's a democracy. So the Biden staff democratically decided that it's not a crisis, and therefore they're not agreeing with what the president has said. Beautiful. And speaking of beautiful, let us look at an amazing piece of art, which is situated in New York City. It is built by the Rockefeller Center to honor African culture. Now, if you don't know anything about the Rockefeller Center, it used to be under scrutiny for being the 1%. Like during Occupy Wall Street, people were upset at the Rockefeller Center for not being in tune with the American people. But now, Rockefeller Center is born again woke. They are very progressive, and they have dedicated their limitless resources in order to improve the life of every single American, to give back to the community by revealing this beautiful art piece symbolizing African culture. Are you ready? Are you ready for the great unveiling? Like, I am really curious. I mean, symbolizing African culture. That is a difficult task that they have decided to take upon, right? Like, what exactly would you be able to do? I mean, if it was me, I would go with jazz music. Not very controversial. Everyone loves jazz music. Is there a single person that dislikes jazz? I love listening to jazz every Christmas. Perhaps a famous Black American. Barack Obama. A little bit controversial. Politician, right? Like politicians are, everything is political, but let's not go with the politician. Maybe some people didn't vote for him. Okay, fine. Thomas Sowell. Thomas Sowell, famous black person. Neil deGrasse Tyson. Which one would you suggest would be worthy of having their face on the statue? Well, it's a difficult decision. Let's see what the Rockefeller Center went with. It's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And it also carries with it the torch. The torch of freedom. You know what? It is so beautiful. It is so amazing that I think it is a crime against humanity to just hold it in a little corner where no one gets to see it. So here's my thought. All right, you take this and then... much better, isn't it? Much better. I think it deserves this place. I think it should be a symbol of the new United States. Anything less is anything less is racist. Now I thought that it's a little bit racist to insinuate the concept of African culture because Africa is an entire continent. There's many cultures within it. It's like trying to suggest the idea of representing European culture by showing some Russian culture. You know, like, yeah, sure, Russia is part of Europe, but very different to Germany. It would symbolize that all Europeans are the same. Well, I guess symbolizing that all Africans are the same by the Rockefellers definitely can work, right? Botswana, Zimbabwe, no difference between them. But here's how the Africans, a country from Africa, represents their culture. A lot of toxic masculinity, is it? Like the Rockefeller had to tone it down a little bit. Just a little bit. You don't want the Americans from Africa to get any ideas. No. So you have to tone it down a little bit. Yeah, beautiful. What can let me know what you guys think though. Like I must have some black people that are subscribed to me. I know a couple of you guys are on my Patreon, right? Tell me which one of these statues do you like more? To be the representative of your culture. Do you like this one? Or do you like this one? Like I'm really curious. Go into the comment section and let me know. Now, speaking of statues and works of art, we got a giant puppet that is called Little Amal. And Little Amal is going to travel 8,000 kilometers from Turkey, Syria to the border of Europe. Okay, to rewrite the narrative about refugees. Do you know that a lot of refugees, in fact, the overwhelming majority of them were adult men, but they're not getting represented. They're going to be erased from history. We are going to erase them using this statue of a little girl that's not so small. And as you can see, it's like these people, my God, you know what it reminds me of? Once I tell you what it reminds me of, you're not going to be able to unsee it. Have you seen Jurassic Park, the movie? When you had like those guys that were pushing the dinosaur into the pen and they had the electric sticks, and the dinosaur was just like being pushed into the pen. It's literally that, but they're doing it to the puppet. They're doing it to the puppet. This puppet is 9-year-old, by the way. It's going to have art and hope. I do see a little bit of cultural appropriation, though. I do see a little bit of a problematic thing with the dreadlocks. Not very progressive. But, you know, they're going to walk her all the way to Europe. Do you know why Europe? Like, why they're not walking her into the United Kingdom? I'll tell you why. Because the United Kingdom is a racist place. So racist that they changed the legislation. They changed how the laws work. Because now migrants who pass through safe countries will be banned from claiming asylum. So, in other words, I don't know if this applies to puppets or not, but if the puppet goes through France, is France a safe place? How are the yellow vests doing? I don't know. Like maybe if it passes through France. But hey, look, if it passes through Romania, safe place, gets to stay in Romania. So, puppet, you go through a safe country, you can't pick and choose anymore, right? You can't go to racist UK. I heard they're very Islamophobic there, so you can't benefit from that Islamophobia if you go to the UK. You get to stay in Romania. Romania, like, when's the last time you heard Romania being Islamophobic? What is it last time it came up into the news? Hey, you know what, like, accusations of Islamophobia from Romania. Just Google Islamophobic Britain and you're going to find plenty of articles, right? So, unfortunately, Muslims who want to travel to find refuge in the UK are going to be unable to do so and benefit from the Islamophobic British culture because they're going to have to pass through safe nations, and now it's illegal for them to find the refuge. Horrible. This is what conservatives do, trying to prevent Islamic migrants from benefiting from the Islamophobia in Britain. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? But luckily, the people of Scotland are a lot more forward-thinking. The people of Scotland are making sure that they punish those right-wing conservative bigots, those really, really bad reactionary people. They need to be punished like nowhere else. To make an example out of them, this is what happens when you are a bigot in our just and free and peaceful society. We have no tolerance, none whatsoever. And this is why this lady right here is now investigated for saying the worst thing ever imaginable since language was invented on planet Earth. Like, she uttered such powerful words, her vocal cords vibrate in a way that it destroyed the souls of progressive people. She's a soul killer, a murderer. She murdered souls of other human beings by saying that women must have vaginas. Like, within that moment, it's like taking a rubber and erasing, like, she erased transgender people from existence. She's a witch. She's a spellcaster. But luckily, the university is here to help, to guide us, to offer us the wisdom and the benevolent power of the universities. Hallowed be their names. Like, I wish I would have a university professor in my face right now so I can just kneel in front of them immediately and start kissing their feet, because without these university professors, I would be nothing. Oh, I'm so emotional right now. I just can't even, right? But not only did she erase transgender people from existence, like, I tried calling 5 of my trans friends. I couldn't find them. They have been, like, it's like history never happened. They have been erased. So this is the face of bigotry. And she also said that women are not as physically strong as men. Can you imagine this? Like, imagine a world where women wouldn't be able to get in a ring with Mike Tyson so that they can compete at the same level. Luckily, we're not in such a world anymore. And luckily, this student has been put under investigation for the spells that she casted, for the harm that she did. The bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki weren't as bad as the words that this woman uttered. You know why? Because, yeah, sure, the bombs might have ended people, but this woman destroyed souls. Now, I know, like, some of you ask, like, okay, well, how are you supposed to refer? Okay, like, if we can't say women, how are you supposed to say birthing people? Birthing people, look here.
As an activist and as a congresswoman, and I am committed to doing the absolute most to protect black mothers, to protect black babies, to protect black birthing people, and to...
Speaking of which, was it last week Mother's Day? Oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I made the sin. I said the word. Oh, I'm so glad I'm not in Scotland. Oh my God, like, they would have me arrested. They would throw me in jail. No, I mean, Birthing Person Day. Was it Birthing Person Day last week? Did you got your birthing person a nice present? Did you went to your birthing person and say, hey, birthing person, I'm so glad you gave birth to me. Ah, beautiful, isn't it? That's how we need to speak correctly. That's how you speak in civilized society. Birthing person. Just make sure that if you hug your birthing person, you do it right. Okay? Experts say, study shows, experts claim, make absolutely sure that you are following the correct steps for hugging your birthing person. Although birthing person, if you think about it, might not be accurate enough, because some people might not have been given birth to. Maybe not now, or maybe in the future. What if, like, a kid is made in a lab, in the future? What if he is made in a test tube? What if he is the Berzelius child? He's going to feel not included. He's going to feel discriminated. Like, oh, birthing people. It's like, oh, only people can give birth? No. Birthing creatures. No, birthing objects. Birthing objects, right? Because like the test tube can also give birth. We need to be inclusive, okay? I really, really dislike people who aren't inclusive and they're not considerate. If it was up to me, I would lock them all up. I guess we have 5 more minutes to talk about some other things. I realize that 30 minutes is the sweet spot for this show. What can we talk about? Oh, the Palestinian conflict. Yes, very important. All over the news today. You know, you go on the Twitter, if you have the wrong opinions, you will be attacked. Sometimes you don't even need to have opinions and you don't even need to be on the Twitter. Apparently, in the city of Hagen in Germany, progressive place, very progressive. It moves towards the future so far that it has went towards the past. The Israeli flag was removed from the city of Hagen. Not by Muslims, by the way. No. Not by Palestine. No. By decent, progressive, outstanding Germans. Why? Because it offends Muslims. According to the city of Hagen, the flag was removed in order to avoid misunderstandings. Numerous other cities and municipalities in Germany, the city of Hagen, hoisted the Israeli flag at the town hall. As in the previous year, this referred to the anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between Israel and the Federal Republic of Germany on May the 12th, 1965. Against the background of current events in Middle East, according to the city administration, the raising of the flag caused anger. All of a sudden, people were angry. And of course, progressives, when people are angry, what do? You take a step back. To avoid violence, of course. Unless it's cisgender white men. If they get angry, then you need to stick it to them. Stick it to the straight white man. Stick it. Like the game journalists stick it to the cisgender straight white gamers. But when it's other people getting angry, well, avoid violence at any cost. So now at least we understand how the pyramid of oppression goes, who's on the top and who's on the bottom. I mean, if the nobility gets angry, of course you take down the Israeli flag. Now, it seems that some people, okay, so not everyone, but some people perceived this to be a one-sided expression of solidarity in regards to the current conflict. And of course, Germany sides with Hamas. I mean, we're not... there were several complaints, according to a city spokeswoman. In order to correct this impression and to prevent further misunderstandings, the city of Hagen, in coordination with the Hagen cops, treated the Israeli flag like a hate symbol and took it down on Wednesday. Cops, they're now very controversial, right? Especially in the United States. Cops, bad cops. There is a solution for cops. And the solution comes from Andrew Yang, which says that the cops should begin training in jiu-jitsu.
We should train every police officer in jiu-jitsu, which is an art where you essentially can just like freaking wrap someone up and then like subdue them. And I love that suggestion so much because if a police officer knew that they could actually just subdue you like hand to hand, then the odds of them escalating the lethal force would go much, much down because it's like, yeah, I feel more confident I can actually... So that's the kind of thing that would actually make us safer.
That is a fantastic idea. You don't get your black belt in jiu-jitsu, you can't be a police officer. You know what, Andrew Yang? I have your best police officer candidate right here. When you see who I'm going to put forward, not only is it very progressive, very diverse, but you will say, yes, all American cops should look like this. And I bet that all of my subscribers are going to agree. think that would be the perfect police officer, trained in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And by the way, with the new update, she also has an ability to dodge incoming attacks. Her new V-trigger allows her to dodge attacks, and then if the perpetrator has a gun, they try to shoot at the cops and she dodges, and then goes in for the grab. Boom, arrest made. I hope you liked This Week is Stupid. If you did, don't forget to thumb up the video. Take into account, I got another channel where I talk about gaming news, and recently there is a little bit of a civil war at IGN, where one side supports Israel, the other side supports Hamas. We're going to go into that. I'm going to make a video where I talk about that. Very funny, very hilarious. Don't forget to check my other channel out. There's a link into the comment section. I also have a Substack where I write several pieces every now and then, right? Like Sticks, Hex, and Hammer does it, therefore I need to do as well. And a live stream channel where I play the recent Resident Evil. Very interesting game. I don't know why I like it, to be honest. The voice acting is bad. The story is bad. The gameplay, if you enjoy fighting against bullet sponges in close quarters, you might like it. Otherwise, it's bad. The Romanian culture that's being represented there is horrible. Nothing goes for it. However, for some reason, I like it. So, yeah, that's an interesting take. And don't forget to share this video around if you enjoy it, because the YouTube algorithm doesn't really do it for me. And I'll see you all next week. Take care.